Kim, narinig niyo na ako?
Sir, okay na po.
Okay. So lahat ba nawala? Or ako lang?
Sir, mukhang lahat po.
Okay, sige. So,
Sorry.
hintayin na lang natin sila muna.
Sige po, sir, for a few minutes.
Okay, sige.
Hello, Kim.
Ross,
maybe you could go ahead and start again kasi nandyan naman ang mga participants.
Okay po.
Okay. Sige po.
Okay, thank you. Just start again, Ross.
Okay po. Kim, naka-disable yung screen share ko.
Sir, okay na po.
At saglit lang. Natin ko lang siya. Okay, so nakikita niyo na uli siya? And okay yung sound ko?
Yes, sir, pero parang yung nasa screen po ngayon ay parang photo po.
Okay, ulitin ko lang. Okay na siya ngayon?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back po sa start. Okay, so species distribution models, as I said earlier, tinatawag din siyang crop occurrence, crop distribution models, habitat mapping. So ito po yung mga ibang term na ginagamit sa kanya. Okay, so usually, pinipredict niyo po yung geographic range of a particular species. Okay, so given a presence only occurrence data and environmental variables. So if we will run MaxEnt, ang dalawang basic na data po na kailangan natin, number one, saan yung location niya ngayon na nakikita nyo, and second, yung kanilang environmental variables that can influence yung ating yung species natin. Okay, so as I told also earlier, yung sa coffee, so kung ipipinpoint natin siya, madali lang. Okay, but kung barangay level, kung municipal level, pero kung gagawin mo na siyang provincial level, regional level, and for the whole Philippines, mukhang mahihirapan na tayo. Okay? Kung manually, we will map them isa-isa. Okay? And for coffee, madali kasi it's part of the farm. So madali, medyo accessible siya. Pero may mga ibang species, especially yung plant and animals na very rare, ang hirap nilang i-map, okay? At hanapin sa field, especially kung napaka-dense ng forest, medyo hindi accessible yung isang area. So what we'll do is we will try to model their occurrences through maximum entropy. Okay? So again, MaxEnt or maximum entropy, it's developed by Philips in 2004, and it's proved a very powerful when modeling rare species with narrow ranges, available, scarce presence only occurrence data. Okay? So ano ba yung concept ng maximum entropy? Okay? So parang ang gagawin natin dito, yung occurrence o yung location ngayon ng mga nakita nating species, so ito yung magiging basis ngayon ni maximum entropy na hanapin pa sa other geographical range kung saan makikita natin yung ganung klase ng setup or environmental condition. Okay? So for example, sa agriculture, bakit nga naman magtatanim ang isang farmer ng coffee sa isang particular place kung hindi naman siya suitable doon? Okay? So it means kapag nagtanim ang farmer doon at nagtumutubo naman talaga yung coffee, so it means itong gantong klaseng environmental variables, ito yung kailangang hanapin ni maximum entropy sa other area. Okay? So again, it uses presence only data to predict the distribution of species based on the theory of maximum entropy. Okay? So ang sinasabi naman ni maximum entropy, you need to have the closest to uniform. Okay? So that's why you need to set parameters. Ano ba yung suitable na environmental condition for this particular species? So one is a given set of samples from distribution over the sum space, as well as set of features or real valued functions, okay, on this space. So ito yung mga variables na kailangan nating gamitin. Okay. So sabi naman ni SIAT, ni International Center for Tropical Agriculture, so the maximum entropy naman will develop the relationship between the species occurrence and the environmental predictors. So that's why it will yield a spatial prediction of species distribution or habitat suitability maps. Okay. So ano ba yung mga kailangan nating data? Okay. So sa Pilipinas po, ito yung medyo hirap tayo. Okay? So especially in GIS mapping. Okay? Most of our data, so yung base experience ko po, still naka-paper map pa yan. Or kung hindi man naka-paper map, totally inaccessible yung data po natin. Okay? So that's why for your research, I think this is a research project. So if you want to do this, so magka-suggest po ko ng mga ibang information na pwede nating gawin. Okay? So as I said earlier, dalawa po yung kailangan natin, species occurrence and environmental variable. So let's focus muna sa species occurrence. Okay, so you need to have there the location. Okay, so pag sa GIS po, basta sa mapping, it's location, location, location. Okay, so number one, kung gusto niyo po ng rapid, okay, na result, you can have a participatory mapping. Okay, so later on I will demonstrate sa QGIS on how to create a fishnet plots or yung mga points natin for the participatory mapping. Then you need to have a focus group discussion. So you need to invite stakeholders na nakakaalam nung gusto nyong imapa na species. Okay? So I think medyo nasabi yata sa akin, it's about leptospirosis yata yung topic natin or yung gusto nyong gawin for the project. I'm not sure. Then you can invite yung mga government agencies involved in this kind of mapping. Okay, so example, nandiyan siguro yung mga LGU, particularly the health unit. Okay, so next, you can invite the DOH. Okay, so kung meron mang meron data na kinokollect sa field, they try to list down kung sino itong mga nagkakasakit ng ganito, then they will try to you can try to point them do sa map natin. Okay, so next, you can have a ground truthing. Okay, so how to do the ground truthing? Ito yung medyo laborious na style ng data collection. Okay, so you need to go field. Okay, so you need to have a GPS. Okay, so collect the coordinates. Okay, and other information. Example, the longitude, the latitude, kailan siya nag-occur, so ilang beses ba siya nagka-occur, so something like that. Okay, so for this one, siguro you can use the smartphone naman. Hindi naman natin kailangan ng sobrang exact na centimeter lang yung error. So it's okay kahit 5-meter error, 6-meter error yung GPS natin, so okay lang po yun. Okay, and kung wala talaga tayong GPS, we can use the geotagging. Okay, so nauuso po ito ngayon, the geotagging. So kasi lahat ng smartphone natin ngayon, if you would notice, lahat sila, meron na silang location capability. So I don't want to use the GPS kasi GPS is American brand. Okay, so yung cellphone natin ngayon, it's not using the American brand also, the GPS, but also they're using the GNSS or the GLONASS of the Russia. Okay, that's why kapag bibili po kayo ng mga smartphone, so meron doon location, nakalagay GPS/GLONASS. So it means they can use both technology, hindi lang American brand na GPS. Okay, so what you need to do is to take picture. Picturean nyo lang siya. Okay, then collect those information, then we will process it in the QGIS. So those pictures contain coordinates. Meron yung longitude, meron din yung latitude. And of course, ito yung baka meron ng ginagawang existing yung mga partners natin, mga stakeholders, baka meron na silang secondary data. Okay? So for our project, for example, the mapping ng mga high-valued crops in Benguet, I'll just go to the Department of Agriculture. Okay? Or sa LGU na nakamap na pala to. Okay? So I'll just use this one. I'll get the coordinates. Then I can put it in our maximum entropy program. Okay? So next, on the other side naman, kailangan mo ng environmental variables. Okay? So ito yung medyo, kung kukunin mo sa different government agency, baka mahirapan tayo. Okay? So now, ang maganda kay GIS, marami ng data na available sa internet. Okay? You just need to download it. So, pero the problem with that, medyo yung coverage niya malalaki. So it's not particularly for Benguet only, it's not particularly for Baguio or La Trinidad, kundi regional siya. So when I say regional, pwedeng Southeast Asia, pwedeng Europe, or pwedeng worldwide. Okay? That's why for this topic, so we will be using the data from the worldclim.org. Okay? Meron siyang 19 bioclimatic variables, and of course, one biophysical variable, which is the elevation, and with 30-second na spatial resolution. So sa kanila po, when you say 30-second spatial resolution, it's 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. So it means 1 pixel, ang kanyang range is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. So ganun ka crude yung data natin. Okay, so again, wala tayong magagawa because ito yung available sa atin for the researchers. Okay, so programs needed. Okay, before, ito yung malaking problema po ng mga GIS users natin. Okay, so you need to spend that much of money if you want to process, if you want to analyze your data. Okay, buti po sa ngayon, we don't need to buy, actually yung isang GIS companies in the Philippines, nag-offer sila sa amin, it's 2 million, okay, pesos every, I think, 1 to 2 years. Pero institutional license naman po siya. But imagine that 2 million, so sayang naman kung bibili natin siya ng software, pero available naman pala siya as open source. Pero ibang brand naman. Okay? So next, we have here the Maxent model, the Maxent program. So again, it's free. Okay? So if you want to use the Maxent, you need to have a Java runtime environment. Okay? So kasi naka-attach doon si Maxent. Okay? So gagamitin niyang program is the Java runtime environment. So again, as I said earlier, all of these are all open source. That's why I will be providing you this installer. Okay, ito pong nasa screen nyo ngayon, you can ask this one from me, or I can send it to Kim. Actually, baka may ganito na si Kim. So you can just get it from Kim para if you want to process your species distribution model, so you can use this one. Okay. So first, for the species occurrence data collection, so again, you need the stakeholders. Sila yung mas nakakaalam nasan yung mga location ng mga yan. Okay? So tayong mga nasa GIS, we will just guide them. Okay? So sir, ma'am, can you help us in mapping this one? So we try to create a grid. Okay? So ang isang grid po nito, sorry, so it's also 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. So you would ask them, so ma'am, for this particular barangay, in I think it's Bugyas, meron po ba itong gantong klaseng species or crops in agriculture? Okay, so kung yes, you don't need to pinpoint exactly yung location. You just need to put 1 dun sa grid na meron siyang occurrence. Okay, so 0 kung wala siyang occurrence for that particular grid. Okay, so that's why you also need a laptop to help them, parang mas madaling makikita nila kung meron kayong Google Earth, kung meron kayong Google Maps. Okay, again, free din naman ang paggamit ng Google Earth, satellite images, at saka ng Google Maps natin. Libre naman po yan. So they can easily pinpoint kung nasan ba tong grid na to, and they can easily imagine kung meron ba siyang location doon. Okay, so before I suggested, sir, why not use drone? Okay, so yung drone, applicable siya kung medyo maliliit lang yung area natin. But if you're talking about municipal level, and if you're talking about provincial level, mukhang mahihirapan kang mag-map using the drone ng ganun kabilis. So you will need some time para ma-complete mo yung pagtakbo ng drone per municipality and per province. Okay, so for this one, ang suggestion ko po sa inyo, so you just need to create, using QGIS, of course, libre din naman po siya, a municipal and barangay boundary map na naka-overlay po doon yung 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer grid. Okay, so using a pencil, they'll just write there. So kung nasan po ba itong mga location ng mga to, and of course, we need a laptop for the Google Earth. Okay? So ganito po yung magiging itsura sana ng mga occurrence map natin if you will be using the participatory mapping. So kasi as you can see here, medyo naka-uniform yung location niya kasi we use the center of the grid as their representative. Okay? So yung pinaka-center po ng grid, yun yung coordinates na kukunin natin. Kasi remember, our grid is a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. Sa loob nun, ang dami po niyang coordinates. So to represent a particular grid, we will just use the centroid or the center of the grid. Okay? So for this project, ang minap po namin is the cabbage, carrots, coffee, rice, and others. Okay? So ito po yung mga location nila. And ito rin po yung ginamit namin to determine kung ano yung distribution niya ngayon. Okay? So for the environmental variables naman po, ito yung mga kailangan nating i-collect. Okay? So 2 sets, isang current at saka isang future. Okay? For the current climate data, so it's over the period of 1950 to 2000. Okay? For the future naman, of course, hindi pa ito na may measure, okay, directly. So it's a prediction, okay, using the RCPs for carbon dioxide for 2050 or the average predictions for the 2041 and to 2060. Yung ibang mga researchers, ang ginagawa na nila is the 2070, okay? So yung average ng 2060, 2080. So if you want to have 2 scenario, so isang scenario, especially if you want to predict the 2070, okay? But kung ang focus nyo lang naman is the current, so you can use the 2050 model na lang. Okay? And our BioClim, dalawang set din po siya. Okay? So yung Bio 1 to Bio 11, it deals with the temperature. Okay? So while the Bio 12 to Bio 19, it talks about the precipitation. Okay? So again, so meron kang Bio 1 to 11 ng current, Bio 1 to 11 ng future. Ganun din po, Bio 12 to 19 for the future, Bio 12 to 19 ng current. Okay, so ganun ka laki yung data na kailangan nating i-collect. Okay, so ano ba yung focus po, ano ba yung basis ni future climate data? Okay, so we have here the representative concentration pathway. Okay, so this one is the historical emission. Okay, so tinitingnan natin kung saan ba tayo pupunta based on our CO2 emission. And yung mga ating scientists, they try to create different scenario, of course. Okay, so we have the RCP 2.8 to 8.5. Okay, so if business as usual daw po, we will do nothing. So we'll just try to emit the carbon, so release tayo. We can have this path po, dadaan natin, okay? Which is the worst case scenario, okay? So if we predict natin yung occurrence ng species sa 2050 using these climatic variables. Okay? So we have a climatic variables here. Okay? So ito po yung gagamitin natin as compared dun sa ating present or yung ating current. Okay. So ito po yung itsura ng ating mga BioClim. Okay, so medyo na-clip ko na siya kasi kapag nag-download po kayo sa WorldClim, hindi kayo pwedeng mag-select ng Philippines only, Benguet only, or Baguio only. Okay? So ang ibibigay sa inyo yung buong data, okay, for the whole world. Okay? And it's a raster file. Okay? So magiging tip po muna siya, TIF, then you need to convert it into .asc, MXC, or GRD, which is ito po yung format na kailangan ng Maxent. Doon po sa mga may basic GIS na, it would be easier for you to do this in QGIS. Okay? So ito po yung example ng Bio 1 Clim data. And this is BioClim number 12, the annual precipitation. So ano po bang maganda sa ginagawa natin ngayon? So kung napansin nyo, most of the data, libre, it's free. We can download them. So ang kailangan nyo lang talaga makuha, even the programs, free po siya, ang kailangan nyo lang talagang kuhanin is the location or the occurrence ng mga species na gusto nyong i-map po. Okay, so some consideration before running the model. Okay, so first, you need to convert this one into a CSV file. Okay, hindi po siya shapefile. If you are into GIS, hindi shapefile ang hinihingi ng model sa atin. So ang gusto niya sa atin, dapat po nakatabular. So it means you need to first identify ano yung crop natin. Okay, so you have there the longitude or the x-axis or the easting, and of course the latitude, which is the y-axis and the northing. Okay, and you need to have this kind of format. Kasi kapag nauna si longitude, isasabihin niya this is the crop. Tapos pag nilagay mo naman dito yung crop sa column B, then sasabihin niya, this is the longitude. Okay? So magkaka-error na yung data natin. So remember, ito po yung hahanapin ni Maxent na location to find yung suitability or yung variable na suitable for that particular species. Okay? Kasi yung overlay po niya yan dun sa ating mga climatic variables. Then per pixel, andun po yung point na yon. Oh, ito yung suitable na condition sa kanya. Okay? So what you need to do, ang gagawin ni Maxent, hahanapin niya yan sa ibang location na may ganung klaseng combination. That's why i-clear ko lang po, no, hindi niya ipipinpoint sa inyo exactly yung location ng mga plants na yan or yung mga animals na yan. Okay? So bibigyan niya lang kayo ng parang map to showing the probability. Okay? So for this particular area, mataas yung probability na meron diyang gantong species. Sa area naman na ganito, based sa climatic variables, medyo limited yung species or baka hindi ganun kasuitable yung species sa particular place na yan. Okay, so next, for our raster file naman, so you need to have here your some of the considerations. So make sure po lahat ng ating 19 bioclimatic variables, kailangan pare-pareho po sila ng pixel resolution. So as I said earlier, we are using a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. Yun na po yung pinakamataas na pwede natin i-download. The extent, hanggang saan yung data natin. And of course, the coordinate reference system. So ang suggestion po dito, ang ating coordinates kanina, yung longitude latitude is naka WGS 84. So dapat po yung raster natin is naka WGS 84 din po. Okay? So ito yung dalawang output actually na makikita ninyo, okay? Sa ating modeling, okay? So actually pinalitan na po namin siya, instead na numbers dapat to, ginawa na po namin siyang descriptive. Okay? So I can show you later yung ginawa nilang parang classification kung ano ba yung low, very low, moderate, high, and very high. Okay? So kung gusto po nating interpret yung map natin, this is the suitability ng coffee in Benguet. Okay? So sabi niya rito, ngayon daw po, ang taas ng probability na makikita mo yung coffee dito sa mga light colors na to. Okay? So doon naman sa ating mga medyo red ng color, mababa yung probability na makikita natin yung coffee doon or magsusurvive or suitable yung coffee doon. Okay? Then we can compare it naman sa future. Okay? So nagkaroon ng climate change. Okay? Tumaas yung temperature, ganito yung nangyari sa precipitation. So using the 2050 model na climate. Okay? So as you can see, naging color, red na halos yung ibang part sa kanya. Okay? So there's a chance na mas maraming area na ang hindi suitable for coffee. Okay? So naging less na yung suitability ng coffee. But take note po, hindi lahat ng we're talking now climate change po, no? Hindi naman lahat po ng species is parang ayaw kay climate change. May mga ibang species or crops, agricultural crops, na mas na nagiging suitable kapag nagkakaroon ng climate change. So based po sa nabasa namin, one example is cassava. Okay? So yung cassava ngayon, for this particular area, hindi siya suitable. Pero dahil nagkaroon ng climate change, mas naging suitable siya. Okay? That's why we can determine their sensitivity. Okay? So we can use this equation to determine how sensitive ang isang species sa climate change. So we can have a projected minus current divided by current times 100. So kapag nag-negative po yan, so it means nagkakaroon ka ng loss. Kapag naman nagpa-positive siya, nagkakaroon ka naman ng gain. So it means nagiging suitable yung species. So ito po medyo mas malayo na po siya. No? Hindi lang siya modeling ng distribution ng isang species, but sensitivity na rin po yung pinag-uusapan natin in relation to climate change. Okay? So may mga limitations and recommendations po tayo dito. Okay? So number one, climatic suitability assessment. So again, so alam po natin na maraming variables that could affect the suitability ng isang species sa isang area. Okay? So sa amin sa forestry, very important po ang slope. Okay? Yung aspect, very important po yan. But here, we did not include that one in this modeling. Okay? So next po, Maxent daw needs sufficient crop occurrence data points. So kailangan at least meron kayong 10 to 20 na points. So that's the minimum, okay? Para mapatakbo nyo yung Maxent program natin. And other layers can be added and analyzed to increase the accuracy. However, ang hirap po maghanap ngayon ng soil map land cover map, slope map na ganun kataas yung accuracy niya. Okay? So sometimes na-access mo siya, but sabi ng iba, mababa naman yung quality niya. Okay? So we can include them as long as you have the data. Okay? So especially in your study po, in your project, I think land use is very important. So kailangan niyo po ng land use to add as a variable dun sa ating species distribution modeling. Okay? So this one may pagka-agriculture po siya, may mga ibang missing information. Okay? So hindi lang naman po kasi climatic variables yung kailangan nating i-check, but of course yung ating pests and diseases. Okay? So example, suitable nga siya, pero dahil ang daming presence naman ng pests at saka diseases, nagiging less suitable na siya. Okay? So marami na siyang nakakalaban doon sa area na yun. Next, we also have here the socioeconomic variables. Okay, so like the yield, the preference, nutrition, market, and of course the employment. So these things could affect, especially in the agriculture po, sa kanilang species distribution model. So for example, for our case, if you are into conservation, so ano ba yung mga ginagawa ng DNR to promote conservation, protection, okay? So yung mga ganung parameters could improve po yung ating modeling, okay? So next, we also have here based on multitude of assumptions, okay? Puro assumptions po yung ginagawa ni maximum entropy, okay? So next, sabi nga niya rito, always high degree of uncertainty, okay? So one recommendation po dito is to, we need to minimize yung kanilang highly correlated variables. Kasi may mga ibang bioclim na sobrang highly correlated na nangyayari, nagsasuffer na siya sa prediction. Okay? So according to Kim et al., you need to reduce the multicollinearity among the 19 bioclimatic variables. Okay? So may paper po ako nito. If you want, I can provide this one to you. Okay, so before we go, actually two-part po kasi yung ating webinar ngayon. So this one is parang the introduction to Max and paano siya ginagawa. Then yung pangalawa naman po is the application. Okay, mas gusto natin kasi yung application. Paano ba siya ginagawa talaga? Paano ba yung step-by-step procedure niya? Hindi lang yung theory, but pati yung application niya. Okay, kasi I think if you're into a research, yun naman yung gusto nyong ma-obtain. Okay, so sabi niya rito, yung species occurrence daw is a critical problem in conservation biology. Okay, so to save a threatened species, one first needs to know where the species prefers to live and what the requirements are for the survival. Okay, so dito po ngayon makakatulong yung mga maps natin, yung mga models natin. Okay, and thank you very much po. So pero hindi po tayo tapos, ano? So if you have some question po, or a clarification, if you want to have a future collaboration, kasi we're looking for future collaboration, so you can easily contact me here at Benguet State University through email, Facebook, please like our Facebook page, and of course our telephone number. Okay, so I think you can get this one naman kay Kim, naka-record naman yata yung ating presentation, and you'll just get this one. Okay. So Kim, tuloy lang ba ako?
Yes po, sir. Proceed na lang po tayo.
So ang ginawa ko po kasi ngayon, dahil baka nga po magka-problem tayo, using OBS, nag-record na ako ng step-by-step procedures. Okay, so I think mga 1 hour yata to. Okay, so 4 video po to, 4 videos. So what you need to do, just watch yung installer natin, yung data natin, yung module natin, available naman po to, ibibigay ko to kay Kim. So if you want to run this exercise, so pwede po natin siyang gawin. Okay? So, pero yun nga lang po, sana may konting basic tayo kay GIS para hindi tayo mga pa doon sa ating module. So, hanapin ko lang po yung video natin. Kim, naririnig ninyo ba? Hello, Kim?
Hello, sir.
Naririnig ninyo?
Ay, sir, Google po yung naka-open.
Okay,
Wala
so
pa po, sir.
ipi-play ko na siya, ha?
Sige po, sir. Okay.
Sir Ross?
So, hindi po ba naririnig? Okay, share ko lang po, ha? Okay, for this part of the demonstration. We would like to download a set of data for our BioClean. Okay, so to download that one, you need to have
May audio po siya, pero wala po yung...
video.
Sir, or eto na po ba yun, sir?
May video na ba siya?
Sir, ang nakikita po namin sa screen, mga folders po.
Okay, sige. Okay na?
Sir, wala pa rin hong audio.
to download that internet connection, get in your Google search engine. Kim, okay na ba?
Sir, parang medyo muffled po yung dating nung audio.
Okay. So, i-demonstrate ko na lang po sa inyo. Okay, so hopefully nakikita niyo na po yung screen ko.
Sir, yung nasa screen po ngayon ay home screen po ng Google.
Okay, okay. So for this one, we need to type here yung worldclim.org po natin. Okay. So lalabas ngayon si worldclim.org. Then let's just click the word clim. Okay, and of course, we need to click here, download. Okay, so based on our lecture earlier, meron tayong future, meron tayong historical. Okay, so for this demonstration, pakita ko lang sa inyo yung historical data muna kasi masyado siyang matagal. Okay, so historical climate data. And here, meron po tayong mga variables which was presented earlier. Okay, so nandito po yung Bio 1, annual mean temperature, until Bio 90. So as I said earlier, yung Bio 1 to Bio 11, it deals with the temperature. Yung 12 naman po to 19, it's about precipitation. Okay. So next, I'll go back to the historical climate data. Okay. And I can now download kung ano po yung gusto kong resolution. Okay. So as I said in the video, I think hindi nyo natin napanood, ang best po dito is the Bio 30. Okay, or 30 seconds. So it means ang resolution niya is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. Yung others, mas mataas pa po siya. Okay. So if I click Bio 30, mag-start na siyang mag-download. But you would notice here, yung kanyang size, it's 9.7 gigabyte. Okay, so it depends on your internet connectivity kung gaano siya katagal. So we don't need to wait for this one para ma-demonstrate ko to. So na-download ko na naman siya, I'll just post this one. So, but if you want, you can download this one on your own po. Okay, so now I'll go to my data kung saan ko siya sinave. Okay, so we have here the zip file. Okay, so in-extract ko na po siya. Okay, and nilagay ko na po siya ngayon dito kay same folder name. Then ito na po yung data natin. So we have here the Bio 1 to Bio 19 na bioclimatic data. Okay, so again, ang size po niya, I think hindi ko siya masishare sa inyo kasi it's almost 10 gigabyte na po siya. Okay. Now, what we will be doing, so Kim, nakikita niyo pa ba yung screen ko na QGIS na?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so because we don't want yung ibang part naman ng mundong to, ang focus lang natin, for example, is only Philippines. Yun lang ang focus natin. We don't want to deal with Indonesia or Australia, but maybe in your future study, you want to compare is a particular species na available sa dalawang bansa, then just extract those two countries. But for this particular demonstration, we'll just focus sa Philippines and later on, Benguet tayo. Okay. I'll add that raster data. So by the way, this is the QGIS 3.10. You can download this one for free. So I'll just click here, add raster layer. And I can now browse and go to my 19 BioClim. Okay, isa-isahin po natin siyang ipa-process. Okay, so ito yung medyo tedious kay GIS. In some cases, repetitive yung task nyo. Paulit-ulit, nag-iiba lang tayo ng data. I'll just click Bio 1 and click open. I'll click add and I'll click close. So as you can see, medyo matagal yung pag-load niya kasi masyadong mabigat yung isang data po natin. Okay, so now we have here yung ating world map showing yung ating Bio 1. Okay, so ang focus natin ngayon is only the Philippines. So medyo mabagal po siya mag-load. Okay, so ngayon, if you want to extract only this particular data set, kailangan meron kang boundary nito kasi raster file po siya. You cannot just select all this one and extract it. So you need to have a map showing the boundary of the Philippines. Okay, so again, available din po tong data na to for free sa internet. You just go to the field GIS. Okay, I'll just click browse. And I'll go to the location kung nasaan yung province o yung ating Philippine map showing the provinces in the Philippines. I'll just click add and I'll just click close. Okay. So ito na po yung ating map. Okay. So to process this one, we need to access the process toolbox. Okay. And here po, you need to type here the raster clip by mask layer. So it means imamask po ng ating layer o ng ating Philippine map yung ating raster data. So I'll just double click this one. So of course the input must be the bio 30, sorry, bio 1. And ating mask layer is province. And again, one of the considerations earlier, kailangan pare-pareho po tayo ng coordinate reference system, which is the WGS84. So I'll just click here, WGS84. And of course, WGS84 for the target. Okay. So now we will create a new raster file na nakaseparate na po yung Philippines lang. And now, let's go create na lang ako ng bagong folder dito. Okay. Itatype ko lang po rito, any code. So bio1 underscore ph. So next po na mga gagawin natin, bio2 underscore ph, bio3 underscore ph para mas madali po siyang i-analyze. I'll just click save. I'll just click run. So again, kaya ko sana po ni-record para mas mabilis po siya. So I'll just click close. And we have now, I'll turn off, parang hindi ko papakita po yung ibang map natin. So meron lang po tayong map or data for the Philippines. Okay, again, this is bio 1. So I'll just change the symbology para mas ma-appreciate po natin siya. And I'll click here, a single band pseudo color. And I'll click OK. So ganito po yung mga itsura ng data natin na kailangang i-input kay Maxent. Okay, by the way po, kung nasaan po yung boundary ng ating mga variables, which is pare-pareho dapat, hanggang doon po yung ating species distribution model. Okay, so example, you have here points inside the Benguet province or the Cordillera province, pero yung ating climatic variables is buong Pilipinas. Ang ipapakita niyo po sa inyo, not only in Cordillera, but for the whole Philippines po. Okay, so ganun po siya kaganda. Okay, so but in some cases mas maganda if you have a data here, then just focus on this particular area. Okay, so ayun po. So next, let's proceed. So siguro Kim, isend ko na lang sa iyo yung file.
Okay po, sir.
Okay. Kim, narinig niyo ba?
Sir, wala, yung sa video po, wala po kaming naririnig na audio.
Okay. Ngayon, Kim, okay na?
Sir, medyo sabog pa rin po yung audio.
Okay.
Sir Ross?
Yes, yes.
Sir, hindi pa rin po clear yung audio on our end.
Okay, sige, sige. I-demo ko na lang ulit siguro sa inyo. Ano? Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, nakikita niyo yung screen ko, Kim?
Sir, yung nasa screen po ay parang may folders po siya.
Okay.
View.
So, clear naman siya, no? Okay, so for this webinar po, sayang kasi mas okay sana siya kung pati yung participants natin nag-create din ng ganito. Okay, so we have here the data. Okay, so we don't need to process it anymore kasi bibigay ko na po sa inyo lahat to. So we have the current, the future, and of course the occurrence, the location, plus the location ng Benguet po natin. Okay, so later on, if you have the time, you can practice it. Okay, of course, I will also be providing you these installers. So paki-install na lang po later on sa inyo if you're interested in doing this kind of study. And of course, the module. Okay, so nakalagay naman po rito yung step-by-step procedure natin on how to do this maximum entropy model. Okay. So now, turuan ko muna kayo on how to create some like yung pang participatory mapping if you're into participatory mapping. Okay, so I'll just click a new project. So disable ko lang, itanggalin ko lang po yung iba. Okay, so now ang focus po natin for this demonstration is of course not the whole Philippines, masyadong matagal po yon. We'll just focus on Benguet. Okay, I'll just click here vector layer, and I'll click here the max and training folder. Okay, so I'll just click here the Benguet map and add and close. Okay, so you need this one po para alam ni QGIS nasaan ba yung boundary ng gusto nating imapa. Okay, so next we will go to the vector research tool and create grid. Okay, so we want to have a polygon and we want to have a spacing of 1000 by 1000. Okay. So kasi 'di ba natin suitable or compatible yung ating raster data at saka yung ating vector data. Kaya kung yung resolution ng raster is 1000 by 1000, then here we will be using a 1000 by 1000 also. So we will be using Benguet as our boundary. Okay. And kung napansin niyo po, may question mark dito. Okay? Kasi ang kanyang unit of measurement, dahil naka WGS84 siya, it's still in decimal degrees. Okay, so angular siya. So we want to have a metric system. That's why we selected here WGS84 UTM Zone 51N. Okay, and it must be in meters na. Okay, I'll just save this one. Save to file. And I'll save it inside my local disk C. So anywhere po, kung saan kayo nagsasave ng data ninyo. Okay, so yung sa video po, nag-create ako kahapon, kaya meron tayong result dito. I'll just click here. Another output. Okay, so it's an empty folder. So I'll just click here. I'll just type Benguet grid UTM. Let's click save. And siguro hindi ko na muna siya i-add. And I'll click run. Okay. So now, if you want to see, kasi magkaiba na po siya ng CRS ngayon. Okay. So if you want to see that grid, yan. So ito po yung magiging itsura niya ngayon. Okay. So however, ang problem niya, naka-UTM siya. So para ma-overlay natin siya with Benguet map, we will change the projection. So I'll just click, I'll just change this one here. Then I will not save it, and okay. So na ngayon, nag-create na tayo ng another file na iba na yung kanyang projection. So now we can add those two, okay? So I'll just click, sorry. Okay, so ito na po yung magiging map natin. Okay, so we want to show this one do sa ating mga participants. Okay, so kung available ba yung mga species na yon dito. So we'll just pinpoint them down. Okay, so dahil meron na po tayong internet connection ngayon, naka-embed na rin po si Google Satellite dito sa ating project. So I'll just click here, Google Satellite. Okay. So ngayon, we can easily pinpoint kung meron bang occurrence ng particular species dito. For example, here in Baguio City. So kung meron kayong gustong i-map at kahit isa lang po na may available dito, so you can put one here para meron siyang presence, then zero naman po kung wala. Okay? So next, ang isang ide-demo ko naman po sa inyo ngayon is how to determine yung mga centroids na yan. Kasi as I said earlier, we want to create or we want to determine the longitude and the latitude for each coordinate or for each grid. Okay, so ngayon meron na po tayong mga points. Okay, ito po yung mga ilalagay natin kay maximum entropy later on. Okay, so kung meron siyang presence, then magstay po siya. Kung wala naman po siya, then tatanggalin po natin siya ngayon. Okay. Okay, so I think I will no longer need to demonstrate sa inyo po yung paano maglagay ng longitude at saka latitude dito. So nasa video naman po siya, ipapadala ko na lang po sa inyo. So now we will be using an existing data. Okay, so I will add here yung ginawa po naming mapping in Benguet Province. Okay, so this one, ito yung ginawa nating grid kanina, pero na-process na po natin siya ngayon. So meron na tayo ngayong data. For example, the code for copy is CO. So kapag may 1 po siya na value, it means may occurrence. Kapag naman po 0, it means wala siyang occurrence. Okay? So now, how can we separate yung may occurrence at saka wala? Okay? So we will use the expression, select features using an expression. By the way po, WP is white potato, CB is for white cabbage. CB is cabbage. So gusto lang po natin hanapin kay column yung may value na 1. And I'll just click select feature and close. Okay. So lahat lang po ng may 1 sa coffee, siya lang po yung naka-color blue or naka-select. Okay. So ito lang po mga yellow ngayon ang we want to separate them kasi ito yung ipapasok natin kay maximum entropy later on. So to do that, right click lang po tayo. Then export, select, save selected feature. Okay. So kanina po, ang sabi ko sa inyo, 3 lang yung kailangan nating data. Okay. So the easting, the northing, and of course the name of the crop. So I'll just save this one. And ngayon, na-retain lang po dito yung may location ng coffee. Okay? So we have here, itong mga to, dyan lang po may coffee. Ito po yung kailangan ninyo sa inyong mapping. Okay? So again, it's up to you if you want to have it participatory or kung gusto nyo po siyang gawin as yung ground truthing. Pupuntahan po natin siya isa-isa. So now I will export this one. Question po, anong file po ang kailangang ipasok kay maximum entropy? So dapat po naka-CSV file po siya. Okay? So we need to change this one from a file na shapefile to comma separated value. And save. Okay, and of course I will click OK. So ngayon po, based sa lecture natin, kailangan daw naka-arrange yung ating data. Okay, so species, longitude, and latitude. So this is my coffee data. Okay, so again, sabi niyo po rito, kailangan daw species, longitude, latitude. So we'll just arrange this one. Okay, ngayon po, papakita ko na po sa inyo yung maximum entropy na folder natin. Okay, so how to check kung naka-install na po kayo ng Java sa inyong screen po, okay, o sa inyong computer. So you would notice, meron na pong parang Java na icon yung aking maxent.jar. So kapag meron na po siya, it means available na po siya and you can use it na. Okay? So ito po ang maximum entropy. Napakasimple lang po ng interface niya. Okay? So it's just a parang isang window lang and you just need to put here yung mga data na kailangan natin ipasok. Okay? So I'll just click browse. And of course, you need to find the occurrence. Nasaan ba yung mga location ng mga species ninyo? Okay. So I just go to my folder. And nandito po yung coffee data. Okay. So malalaman nyo naman po kung successful siya kung meron pong lalabas dito na coffee. Okay. Now we have environmental layers. Ito po yung ating biofilm. So we need to have the current and of course the projection or the future. Okay. So dapat po na-process niyo na siya before nyo i-run tong Maxent. So don't worry, na-process ko na naman po yung sa Benguet. So for demonstration, so i-add na lang po natin siya ngayon. So we have here the data. This is the current, open. And we have here the future. Okay. So next, what we will be doing is we need to save. Saan ba natin i-save itong mga files natin? Okay. So I'll go to my output folder. And I need to create a folder here, coffee, species distribution map. Okay, then baguhin ko lang po yung settings natin dito. Okay. And I'll click run. Okay, sorry, nakamali. Ito po. Okay, so kapag naka-encounter po kayo ng ganung error, it means hindi pareho yung settings ng environmental layers at saka ng ating projection. Dapat po 1:1 siya. So kung mayroon kang bio 1 na gagamitin, then you have to, for the current, you need to have also bio 1 for the future. Okay? So for this one, nagkaroon tayo ng additional na dry months. That's why hindi po siya nag-work. Okay, so I'll just remove that one. I'll click run. Okay? So medyo matagal po to. Okay? So we don't need to wait for this to process. Okay? So i-demo ko na lang po sa inyo yung naging output po niya. Okay? So this is our map now. Okay? So I'll just add yung naging result po ng Maxent natin. Okay? So I'll just click add raster layer. Then I'll go to the results. Ito po yung ginawa ko kahapon. Okay? So sa Benguet copy po, dalawa yung hahanapin nyo dito. Yung average ng future at saka yung average ng current. So again, ang dami-dami pong files natin dito. So what we can do is we can filter this one. Kasi ang output po ng ating Maxent is that AC file o yung raster file for the ArcGIS. Okay? So I'll just select here average for the current and average for the future. I'll click open. I'll click add. So select ko lang po yung ating nandito. And close. Okay? So ganito po ang ating magiging itsura, okay, ng ating distribution map natin. Okay? So we have here yung ating mga points. So baguhin ko lang din po siya para mas madaling ma-interpret. Okay, so for this one, mas mababa yung value, mas less suitable siya, mas red yung color naman, mas suitable naman po siya. Okay, so ganun lang po kasimple yung Maxent. Okay, so ngayon, it's up to you if you want to continue this one, yung sa sensitivity natin. So we'll just minus the future minus the present. Okay, so after po nun, we can have kung nagkaroon ba ng gain sa Benguet or nagkaroon po ba ng loss sa ating area. Okay, so yun lang po muna siguro for the maximum entropy, and thank you very much po.
Hello, sir.
Yes po.
Hello, sir. Proceed na po tayo sa question and answer. Okay na po ba?
Okay po, okay po.
Sige. Sir, currently isa lang po yung question natin. So, ini-invite ko po yung mga attendees na mag-post mo ng questions. Sir, yung question po natin is galing po kay Rayton Ordonio. This question may be more on the statistics side. The variables given as example look like high-dimensional data. Can you use principal component analysis, then high-dimensional data to proceed the data you have gathered?
I'm not familiar with the method po, ano, do sa statistical method na sinasabi ni sir. But for this one, okay, so ang gawin na lang po natin is to check yung accuracy ng ating mga maps. Okay, so we can have to check the accuracy. So you have the training data set for the model fitting, and of course you have the model validation. Okay, so you just need to select here ano ba yung gagamitin for validation, alin ba yung for evaluation. So yun po. By the way po, lahat po ng resources na meron tayo ngayon, ipoprovide ko po siya kay Kim. Baka makatulong po sa inyo. And of course, you can download it sa inyong mga computers for your future researches po.
Thank you, sir. And thank you rin po sa question from Ethan Ordonio. Sir, second question po from John Paul Payupay, best GCM. That should I use for future climate projections?
Again, it depends on your objective, ano. So kung ang gusto mo lang is for ganitong simpleng modeling, then you can use the GCM for the word clean na lang. Okay? So pero may mga iba pa kasing mga data naman tayo. So that's available online. Pero yung popular talaga is the wordclean.org. Okay.
Sir, yun po yung questions for now. But mag-iisip ba tayo?
Kung may question pa po kayo, again, kay Kim naman po yung email ko. So we are very open to collaboration. Okay? So yun po. Thank you po.
Sige, pasalitain po ba natin siya? Okay na?
Sir, we have another question from Rayton Ordonio. You may now ask your question po.
Sorry Kim, hindi ko masyadong marinig.
Sir, we have a question po from Rayton Ordonio. Nag-raise
Okay
po
po.
siya ng hand kanina. And so, Sir Ordonio, kung may question po kayo, in-unmute po namin kayo.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes po, yes po, yes po.
Yeah, sir, I have a question regarding this program. So QGIS. So I understand you're just doing it on your end, right? So let's say you are collaborating with different people working on a single project, and you want to make sure you know enter data points or create your maps well. Is there a way that yung project mo is actually shareable and it's not just constricted to your own PC or your own computer? So parang kumbaga may version ba to ng parang alternate niya like Google Docs or something like that na you know it can be shareable, it can be edited, it can be manipulated by other people doing the same study.
Uh, hmm. So for our case, meron kasi kaming nasa website namin siya. So you can visualize it, okay? You can use it, pero yung manipulation wala pa. Yung yung ikaw mismo yung magbabago ng mga data. Okay? So but for this, it's available sa internet. So by the way po pala, so nalimutan kong sabihin kanina, yung isang output kasi nito is we want to help LGUs to create a MIA village. So adaptation and mitigation initiative in agriculture. So may pagka-technical siya, but at the same time may pagka-social siya. So we want to pinpoint ngayon, saan ba magkakaroon ng mataas na sensitivity, particularly loss, pagdating sa coffee sa different municipalities in Benguet. So if you want to share this information, so sa website po namin siya nilalagay. Yun po, sir.
Okay, great, awesome, thank you.
And, do we have any other questions po from the audience? I think yun na po yung last question for now, Sir Ross. And so,
Okay.
thank you po dun sa presentation ninyo. Sorry po, bigla kayo napaka-crash course po ng
Oh.
QGIS at
Okay. So,
MaxEd.
but
And
Kim, sa mga participants namin, very willing kami na i-accept kayo, but siguro hindi pa sa ngayon kasi medyo hirap pa kami sa online tutorial ng mga ganito. But in the future, pag medyo okay na, so you can come here in BSU para mas ma-demonstrate natin. So actually medyo kulang talaga yung time kasi we need to introduce sana the GIS, the QGIS concept and others. Parang ganun. Sige.
Ayan. Thank you, sir. Noted po. By the way, sir, may mga pahabol po comments and questions po. So again, from Mr. John Paul Payopay po, not a question, but to help answering the previous question, you can use bccvl.org.au online tool. And so,
Thank you, JP.
thank you. And then we have another question po, sir, from Mr. Mark Anthony Villatema. Does Max and can plot movements po?
No. Yung gusto mo yung talagang yung actual movement, hindi niya kaya. Talagang raster based lang kasi siya.
Ayan, kung may mga, thank you sir for the response. Kung may mga pahabol pa pong questions, you may raise them now po. Okay, I think, yun na po sa ngayon sir. Again, thank you po dun sa talk and dun sa
Thank you rin po sa
opportunity.
inyo. Thank you po sa opportunity.
And thank you sir also for going the extra mile na mag-prepare po ng materials na magagamit po ng participants even after this webinar.
Okay.
And so, sir, to end po siguro the webinar for today and also to express our appreciation and gratitude for sharing your knowledge and time this morning kahit na medyo busy po kayo. And so we would like to award you po an e-certificate. Sir, yung physical certificate to follow na lang po.
Okay,
Papadala ko
thank
na
you po.
lang
Thank
po.
you po.
Ayan po. So, basahin ko lang po yung
Okay.
citation. And this certificate of appreciation is presented to Dr. Jacinto Ian C. Lumbres for sharing his outstanding expertise during the webinar entitled Applications of Modeling in Epidemiology, held on October 22, 2020. Signed, Kimberly P. Paglingan, Research Project Leader, Dr. Roland M. Hipol, Chair of the Department of Biology, and Dr. Dimfna N. Javier, Dean of the College of Science. Again, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
And so for our participants, we apologize po for the technical difficulties that we have experienced this morning. Pero sana po you still found the webinar helpful. And so although more of agricultural po yung naging presentation for today, sana nakita nyo ho yung uh, possibilities ng use pa ng max and ng mapping sa kanya-kanya ninyong mga fields like epidemiology. And so we would like to formally end this session on, again, applications of modeling. We would like to know your feedback by completing the assessment form by the end of the webinar series tomorrow. Yung link po for the said form will be flashed again tomorrow in our program and will be sent through your emails for those who are participating through Zoom. And so by the end of the said form, you will be able to receive a certificate of participation for this webinar series. And so again, tomorrow, final reminder before we end this webinar. Tomorrow, October 23, we will have another webinar still in relation to the said topic. So bukas naman po, ang titignan po natin or ang isi-share po sa atin ay more of mathematical/computational modeling by Dr. Joel M. Adawe. Again, thank you so much everyone who participated today, and thank you again, Sir Ross, and see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.